today I'm going to be going over how to contour, highlight, what the heck is baking. I'm going to go over the difference between cream and powder products. What's better for you and your skin type, what my favorite products are, just like everything. I'm going to go over the whole shebang. So because I'm going to be going over everything, I will have a table of contents. It should be at the bottom of this video or on the side or whatever, but it's also going to be down below in the info box. So I will put the time to where each topic starts at in the video, because if you are not here for baking, or if you're not here for, cream contouring or whatever, you can scroll to your portion of the video that you think you would like the best. That way you don't have to sit here through like a 20-minute video wondering when I'm gonna get to your topic. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. This is going to be filled with a ton of information. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe, thumbs it up if you enjoy, and let's get started. All right, so you wanna start off with a little bit of foundation, but before I apply that, I'm going to apply a primer. This is the mattifying primer from Makeup Forever. I really like this one because I get pretty oily in the T-zone area throughout the day. Whenever I'm completely done with my makeup, I feel like extremely matte. But throughout the day, since I do get pretty oily in the T-zone area, this really helps it so that it doesn't get that way. Makeup Forever primers are my favorite. They have a bunch for whatever your skin needs are, so I definitely recommend those ones. Now you want to give yourself a light layer of coverage before you go in and do any cream highlighting and contouring. So I'm first going to use, what do I want to use? I'm going to use a little bit of my Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation just because I've been using it a lot lately. I've been switching between this one, Born This Way, and the Giorgio Armani foundation, the Lasting Silk, but I'm going to use this today. So I am in the shade Ivory Nude. Let me just put a light layer on. You don't want to put too much, but I am really breaking out over here on this cheek, so I want to make sure that I really do cover that. But overall, you want like a pretty, like a medium, sheer to medium coverage. I'm going to use my Sigma F80 flat top kabuki brush just to blend this out. And especially when you're doing like cream highlighting and contouring, you want to do like light layers and build up, because anytime you do that, you're going to get the most natural looking finish. It's going to look like you have a lot of dimension, but you're not going to cake up really fast. It's not going to look like a lot of thick stuff on because you're going in with lighter layers and stuff like that. So next I'm going to conceal, and concealing definitely plays a role in highlighting. Whenever you want to highlight this whole area in the concealer area, you want to go in with maybe like 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation shade, tops 3 shades. I pretty much stick between 1 to 2 shades. So I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer. The one that I've been using before this one was the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Creaseless Concealer. It's got some crazy long names. So I really like both of these because they're both pretty weightless, but you get a fuller coverage. So I'm just going to use the Makeup Forever one. I am in Y23 in the Makeup Forever, and I am in Light Warm in the Urban Decay one. Just put like 2 little dots there, and I actually use the applicator here just to kind of like blend it in a little bit. So that's where I want to conceal. Now to just evenly distribute the highlight, I've been loving this product. It's literally the same exact thing as the YSL Touche Eclat. This is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi. It's probably like 1/4 of the price. Now, I used to take my concealer and evenly distribute it, but I felt like I was like wasting my product because your concealer gives a fuller coverage because you're trying to cover harder things that your foundation can't cover. So I felt like I was wasting it by putting it in my T-zone just to evenly distribute the highlight. So this doesn't give as much as full of coverage as the concealer, but it's going to give you that highlighted effect, and it also is a little bit more like illuminating. So I'm gonna go right here in the inner corner first because that's where my dark circles are the darkest. I'm also going to bring it straight down and up because we want to highlight this area here. Do the same on this side. I'm gonna do right here in the middle of the forehead, down the center of the nose, I also like this right here to be a little bit brighter. Get the chin. And then also right here on the Cupid's bow. Right there. I've seen it where people actually fill in that whole middle section of your Cupid's bow. It's really not gonna do very much. It's gonna make that whole area look pushed forward. I just never understood why people just put that right in the center there. If you accentuate these two lines, it's gonna make that whole upper lip look fuller. Also gonna take a little bit of this from the corner of the mouth to the ear. And remember, with anything that you highlight, you want to bring forward. With anything that you contour, you want to push back and create shadows. So here I'm basically just pushing this part out, this part forward, all those parts that you see right there, they're all being pushed forward. I'm going to use my F64 brush from Sigma. It is the Soft Blend Concealer Brush. It's my favorite. And if you ever see pictures of people where they've got all of the contour and highlight all over their face, when I first started contouring and highlighting, that is what I would do. I would do my entire face with the highlight, and then I do the contour, and then I try to blend it all out. But I felt like it was getting so sloppy, and for some reason I could never understand why my face wasn't being blended completely. And it's because they were getting mixed together and it was getting really sloppy. So I find that if you highlight and then you contour and then you go back and like touch up, it's gonna look the most natural. So if you find that you are contouring and highlighting and you're doing the whole like shape thing on your face where you got the lines and everything and it's just looking messy and you can't blend it out, try this. Try doing only one at a time. I think that you will really like it. I just find that it's just like so much easier. Okay, I need to shave my mustache. I've heard of those like face shavers, and I thought that it meant that your hair was gonna grow back thicker, but I've seen a couple of people on YouTube talking about it, and I think I need to jump on that train because this mustache is out of control. And if you get it into the cheeks, it's fine. Things will be covered up, things will be blended, it will be fine. So that's why I like to do my highlight first, because if you had that contour color there, and if you got it into the contour and then you went to go blend this up again, you'd be bringing that contour up and it would just not be looking good. So all right, so now we can move on to the bronzing portion. I do want to go over the difference between bronzing and contouring. Bronzing is just definitely in a more broad area. It's going to make you look a little bit more sun-kissed, where contouring is where you create the shadows. I have two cream bronzers here. I have the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. It is kind of like a moussey product. It's kind of like a moussey product. It looks like this here, and I love using this with the round top kabuki brush from Sigma, or the angled one. Mainly the round one I think is what I use, but I also love, where it at? I love this double-ended brush from Crown. I just use this end of it. I love that with this and with cream actual contouring too. And then the product that I'm going to be using today is the Terracotta Spray from Guerlain. This is what it looks like. I have the lighter shade. It also comes in a darker shade. I am going to use this brush from IT Cosmetics. This is my favorite brush to apply this with. Spray it on. And this is just going to warm up my skin tone and give me more of that sun-kissed look. So I'm gonna go on the forehead first. I still want to try the Sephora brand version of this product because I want to see if it's like comparable or, you know, whatever, because this is like so freaking expensive. It's ridiculous, but it's awesome. So I can't wait to try the Sephora one. So as you can see, that just made me look more tan, like I've been in the sun. And see, I'm not really being precise. I'm just kind of like going in this whole area just to bronze and give me some color. I do have powder products of highlighting and bronzers and contour powders and stuff, so I will get to that later. Now I'm going to move into contouring with cream products. The contour product that I'm going to be using is this Bobbi Brown foundation stick. I am in the color Almond, which is number 7. These two I also love. This is the Makeup Forever palette. This is actually what I keep in my kit. And then this Ofra Cosmetics one. This one's also really good and blendable and stuff like that too. I'm going to take the foundation stick and I'm going to start with the cheek area first. I'm going to follow the line of my ear. Generally, you're not supposed to pass the edge of the eye here, and you're supposed to keep it back here for a most natural looking contour. So I'm just going to go right here at the top of the ear, bring it in, It doesn't really pass this, but then when we blend, it will fade forward a little bit more. I'm also gonna go right back here and draw a line going straight down because I feel really wide in this area. So whenever I go back in and highlight, I actually don't bring it back too far. You'll see that later. I really like this to be very contoured. And then I bring it from the chin here back. Looking good. I do the forehead here. And then a lot of times, like when you highlight, you bring it back really far up here. I actually don't want this to be very wide. So I am going to bring a little bit like this on the sides here because I want that to be in a little bit more, and even right here. And then the nose, I kind of like make a V right here at the tip. The most important thing with the nose is making sure that it's straight because it's very easy to go very skinny up here and then wide down here because of the illusion on the face. And it's also very easy to go skinny and then wide. So it's very important to go straight, even if you need to use something as a guide by putting this here and then following along, that can help. But I think that's like the #1 mistake that people do when contouring the nose. Okay, there we go. And then you can also do under the lip area. I mainly like it just there because if I bring it over here, a lot of times I can see it, but that's totally your preference. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the crown brush. Everything will be linked down below, and I'm just gonna go ham and start blending this out. If you go over any of the highlighted areas, it's totally fine. We can always go back in and touch them up. And now for the nose, you can use a brush. I just love using my fingers. So I just drag this downwards and then straight up. And I connect it to the eyebrow right in here. All right, so we're very, very contoured. So I feel like it ends up covering up a lot of the highlighted areas. So you could even contour first and then go in and highlight. I personally love to conceal first, however. So if you want to conceal and then contour and then highlight, that would probably be a really good order. So I'm just gonna go back in with the Magic Lumi highlighter just to go back over and reinforce my highlighted areas. So under here, bring it downwards. And I'm also going to bring some lightness and brightness in this area, right down the center of the nose. This is very detailed there. And then back into the center of the forehead. So yeah, I guess I could have just skipped that step and did it now to make it look the most natural and not like waste product and stuff. But I feel like every time for me is different. Sometimes you don't have to go back in and reinforce stuff, but sometimes you do. So I'm gonna use that same brush that we used before. And that's why I really love this L'Oreal highlighter, because if I did this with a concealer, I feel like I'd be adding on so many layers, but this product is so lightweight, so it just adds the brightness without the coverage. Oh, I forgot to do my under lip area here. Oops. Anytime if you add a little bit too much, you can always go back over it with your foundation brush just to diffuse it, and it'll look really natural. Like that under lip area got a little intense. Okay. And I find like to get the most natural, you go back and forth, back and forth. I'm just being completely real with you because I've seen so many things where people just like mark it on their face and they blend it out and it looks great. Like I wish I was that good, but I'm not. I always go back and forth with my products just so that everything's blended and it looks the best. And like the most natural, as you can see, I'm like touching up spots, you know? So if you're like me and you can't get it with just creating a bunch of stripes and stuff on your face, that's fine. It all turns out the same in the end. I just find this to be a little bit easier. So now we can move on to powder products. I'm so excited. So I'm going to set my under eye area. I'm going to use the MAC Pro Emphasize Shaping Powder. This is my absolute favorite because it is like a very, very bright white powder. I love this mainly for the under eye area because it's going to make it look really, really white and bright. Now, I am super pale, so you might want to try something else that I'm going to recommend next. But I'm just going to put this, I'm patting right in this area. And this just sets everything. I even bring it down here to bring some light in this area. And this is a really, really bright powder. So I love the way that it just like sets it, but then intensifies that highlight again. And now there is a difference between two different powder highlights. There's a shimmery and one that's not so shimmery. This actually has a little bit of a sheen to it, but not very much. You don't want to grab like your shimmer highlight products and put this under here. I can see how it can get confusing. Even though this is a highlighted area, you don't want to apply that shimmery highlight shade here. This is just setting these brighter areas, not adding any shimmer. I'm also going to bring this down the center of the nose and up in this area. This is the Kat Von D Shade Light palette. I love this palette so much. We'll be using this for contouring as well, but I'm going to mainly talk about these two shades right now. This is the middle shade. It's the yellow one called Light. And then this one is called Levitation. It's like a lighter pinky shade. I thought this was going to be like my main color that I used for highlighting, but actually this one works better for me for some reason. The reason why I didn't use this underneath my eye, for some reason it doesn't look very good in that area on me. It probably looks good on other people, but I've got a lot of pores and I find that it kind of like, I don't know, I can see them more when I use this powder there. I love using this powder here to reinforce this highlighted area underneath the cheek and the center of the forehead as well. So I'm going to use that here right now. See, it just like brightens it up. If you were going to bake this area, you would skip just setting it with a powder, but I will get into baking later. Another palette that I also really like that I use the crap out of, the Anastasia Contour Kit. I've had this for a really long time. This is just the original one that came out. Between this and the Kat Von D one, I do prefer the Kat Von D one. But for some reason, whenever I contour my nose, I still always use this middle shade here. For some reason on my nose area, this ends up better. I don't understand. I believe they're very similar in price. I know the Kat Von D one is a little bit more, but you do get more product in this as well. So if you're thinking between the two, I would definitely do the Kat Von D one. These are the Make a Peak contour shades. I have Bad Habit, which matches me the best. And then this is Infidelity, but I'm not going to use this for this video because I haven't really used them that much, even though they are really great. I'm going to use the Kat Von D palette today though, because I've been using this longer than those other colors, so I'm going to stick with this one. Before I go in and powder contour, I am going to bronze with powder. Now, again, you don't have to do all of these steps. I'm just showing you all of the steps that you can take. Honestly, like there's no way that I ever do this much, but the more products you use, the more effortless it looks. Two different bronzers that I love. This is the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion. It is in the shade 35i. Like inside looks really gross now, but it looked really pretty when I first got it. But I love this bronzer. It's so beautiful. It gives me like a really pretty glow. And then this one is an old product that I haven't used in forever, and I recently started using it again. This is NARS Laguna. This also has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's very hard to tell, but it gives you more of that like warmer bronze look. I am going to use the Makeup Forever one today because I think that the contour stick that I used was really warm and bronzy. So I think that if I use the NARS one, I'm going to be like overkill. I'm going to use this brush here. This is the 122 Straight and Wavy brush from Makeup Forever. And again, like we did with that terracotta spray from Guerlain, I'm just going to be bronzing. Just like this whole area. If you did the whole cream portion of this, you probably don't even have to do this because you're already pretty bronzed up. But again, if you wanted to be even more bronzed, you could do this. This is mainly like if you skipped the cream portion of this video and you're about to go in and just powder, then you could do this. And now we can go in and contour. I am going to use the 109 brush from MAC. I just gave you all of those contour options, so I am going to be using this center shade first. a little bit, and then I tap off the excess because these are pigmented. And I'm gonna go right here, stay in that back portion there. Remember, at the top of the ear and not past the eye. Right here, and push it up. If it gets into the blush area, that's totally fine. We can cover that up. Just try to stay away from the under part and up here because those are your highlighted areas. If you have more pink in your skin, you're gonna wanna use this shade here. But don't worry. Say there's only one shade in here that you really love from this palette and you're like, what the heck am I gonna do with this palette? You can use these as eyeshadows, crease shades. You can use it to build dimension in your contour. Trust me, you will use them. Honestly, I do use this one the most, but I still use all the other ones in this palette. Continuing, this area here, the jawline. And then the nose, recently, where are you at? Recently, I've been using this brush. It's such a random brush for this purpose, but it turned out awesome the other day. I used the MAC 132 brush. This is actually one of my favorite brushes for when I'm freelancing because it's great to apply primer, moisturizer, foundation, anything with this brush. But I used it to contour my nose. So I'm gonna take that center shade, and I like it because I can hold it this way and it still gives me a really straight line. So I start at the nostril and go straight. So I'm gonna take the darker one in the kit just for demonstration purposes of what you would use with this palette if you wanted to. I'm gonna take the darker one just to intensify it even more. You definitely don't have to. I'm just showing you, like, I don't know, just like what you can do with your kit. If you're like, oh my gosh, I've got this kit with like 100 colors, what do I do? I'm gonna use the darker one because again, you're creating dimension. And with those darker ones, you won't bring them down as far as you did with the other ones. Just keep it in the main spot. Don't feather it as much. It'll gradually fade nicely to the center of the face where it's the brightest and the lightest. You can even take this shade here. It's like a little bit of a peachier tone, and this will help you blend out any harsh edges that you have if you don't want to go back in with the highlight shade, if you don't want to go back in with the contour shade. Like, I usually use this for right around this area, and it will help diffuse the transition so it just transitions easier and more smoothly and more natural looking. You see? This is like the main place that I like to use it because this is where it can get, for me, because I have a double chin and I want to make it look nice and cut, it can get kind of weird. And also, this is a really great peach smoothie kind of shade for an eyeshadow. And if you are very deep in skin tone, this is going to be a bomb ass highlight shade for like the center and under the eyes and stuff like that. You're gonna love it for that. Before we get into baking, I have to say I personally feel like for me it is not necessary. I do not see that much of a difference. I don't know, it's just not for me. My skin is pretty normal. I can get oily, I can get dry. So this is mainly if you have just a few things. Either A, you're very oily and you find that your highlight or your foundation just like does not stay on your face and it separates and melts off and stuff like that. This will help it to last longer. Also, if you find that when you highlight your face, it's just not as bright and highlighted as you wanted it to be, this will help with that as well. And yeah, if you feel really oily, it will just help to mattify you as well. So I'm going to use the ever so popular Laura Mercier translucent powder. I like to shake the crap out of it, and mine is the smaller size. I got it in the like travel section of Sephora. I'm going to do that, and then when I empty it out, I will have, whoop, there we go. I have some in the cap and here in the container. I'm going to use a cosmetic sponge. I find that this applies it the best. I never do this under the eye area because for me it ends up like caking up and looking really dry. You can use it on your nose and your forehead T-zone area, but I love the main way is here. But even still, like, I'm not normally going to do it. So I'm gonna take this and put it right here into the powder. So you have it packed on real nice right there. I don't know if you can even see that. And you basically will just clean up this area. Now, if you're going to bake, you don't want to set these highlighted areas like setting it with the other powders. I mean, you can, but it's unnecessary. So it's kind of like an either or type of thing. But I'm going to do both today because I'm demonstrating. So I like to take this right here, straight back under this contour. And just press that in and it should look like super pigmented and white. You can even bring this up around if you wanted to accentuate the ball of your cheek. I personally don't want to do that with my face. I'm just showing you how to do it because I feel like my face already looks like round. Totally up to you. And I personally, on me, I wouldn't bring it back so far because again, I don't want that back there to be highlighted so much. But just kind of showing you, and then you would let that sit on your face for the rest of the time that you do your makeup. So say you like need to finish the under eye area, or you do your face before you do your eyes, do that and then let it kind of like sit there and cook or bake while you're doing the rest of your makeup. Another option, like say you didn't want to go like all out like that with the baking, you could just do like the back portion. So right back here, like say you wanted that to be highlighted, you could just do that area too if this is going to end up being too dramatic for you. That's just like another option. But I'm gonna do it all out for this video. Cause yeah, you can do the chin if you want. Like I get pretty oily in the chin. Again, you can do the under eye area. I'm gonna skip that because I already highlighted the crap out of my under eye area with that MAC Pro Emphasize Shaping Powder. And I love the way that looks, and plus I feel cakey with this, but totally up to you. So while that is kind of like sitting and cooking and baking on our face or whatever, I'm going to, oh, I should apply my blush really quick. I'm quickly just going to apply Margin from MAC. This is like one of my favorite blushes ever. I applied my blush and I'm going to do the powder shimmer highlight onto my cheekbones. But I'm going to share my top favorite highlighters with you really quick. I love this Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette. It is awesome. This darker shade though, I like to use like around the face just for like an overall glow. But these two are really great for highlighting the cheekbones and stuff like that. They're a little bit more natural and not so like in your face. I know this was limited edition. If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. It's the Becca and Jaclyn Hill palette here, and it's got Champagne Pop in the center, which I know they just made Champagne Pop permanent, I'm pretty sure, so you can buy that individually if you love that. And then there's Pearl, so if you're very, very, very fair, you'd like this. And then this is the Cheeky Bronze. This is basically goes over your cheek area just to give it some more of a shimmery highlight. And then if you were a little bit darker than me, you would love Opal. That is this here. It gives more of like a I don't even know, like a pinky champagne-y kind of look to the cheekbones, almost a little bit silvery. I don't know, it looks really good on people that are really tan. On me, it doesn't look the best. What looks the best on me is Opal. I'm sorry, Moonstone. This is Moonstone here. It's a little bit more of a yellowy vanilla-y kind of color. My favorite brush to apply my highlighter with is this brush here from Real Techniques. It's the setting brush. So I'm going to use that to put this on and put it right at the high point of the cheek. You don't want to go too far in because you want to be highlighting all this with shimmer. It's going to look a little weird. You want to keep it right at the high point. You can even connect it to that brow highlight there, right in this area here. If you want, like I don't want all back here to be highlighted because I want that to be a little bit more contoured in. If you want that to be more highlighted, bring that up, do what you feel, but I'm gonna keep it right here. See, it gives a glow. I don't know if you can tell stuff on camera. I look ridiculous. I look like I've got like a beard. I also like to bring this on the nose, but I like to use my finger for this because you get more precise placement. So I like it in the center and the tip. I think that that looks the best. And then I also bring it right here on the Cupid's bow to follow where we put that highlight earlier. So we're gonna go back to the baking and cooking process. Once that has kind of like sat on your face for a while, you can just go in with a brush and just dust it away. Like so. So it will appear more highlighted than before. And it will also set everything in place. And then if you feel the need, you can always go back in and kind of like blend it out so you don't have like crazy lines. I see a lot of times people got that really stark, like that really like sharp line. If that's what you're going for, go for it, but it's just not my thing. So I need to like go in and like, you know, blend it out, make it look more airbrushed and diffused and natural and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to quickly finish up the under eye area and add a lip so that I don't look so crazy, and then I will conclude the video. So yeah, this is the finished look with contouring and highlighting it to the max. I did cream and powder and I baked or cooked, however you want to say it. So I'm just gonna like show you like the side and everything so you can see like what it looks like. I mean, I guess like the basis of this video is contouring creates shadows, highlights bring out features. So anything that you want to like bring out and emphasize, you want to highlight. Anything that you want to contour or that you want to kind of like recede, you know, you add shadow, so you add that contour shade. And then actually the more products you use, you end up looking the most natural because it all kind of blends together. Very similar with the eye area. Whenever I start with like a lighter, like a Birkin from Anastasia, like a light brown shadow in the crease lid area, and then I work up to my deeper shades, it's because I'm adding more dimension and more gradualness to the eye. Like you can see here, it looks very like, I don't know, hopefully it looks really blended, you know what I mean? But I have like 11 eyeshadows on and I just worked light to dark and it just looks really blended and just like smooth. Same with the eye, goodness. Same with the face. You know, if you're going to bronze, do that and then go in and contour because it's gonna look more natural. I'm just repeating myself, but I just wanted to give you like an overall like basis of like overall gist of like what is going on here. So I hope you guys like this video. Any questions that you have, let me know down below in the comment section because I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. All the products are listed down below in the information box, and let me know your requests. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.